The abandoned kitten was found in a cardboard box at a local cricket ground and has a badly injured front leg.
Yeah, I think we now know why she can't walk on that leg. That's a big fracture. Like a lot of kittens, Cricket has very thin bones. She's only been on this earth for about 8 weeks, so she hasn't had much calcium to really strengthen them up. So I know if I push too hard, I could actually crack the bone. If I do that, then this whole operation will be a failure.
Hello. Oh, hi, how are you? We've just found this kitten in the park and we were told to bring him up here.
You just found the kitten?
Yeah, we found it in the park.
Do you want to have a look at her for you?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yep.
Good Samaritans Yvonne and her sons Luca and William have rushed into the Bondi clinic with a tiny abandoned kitten.
So you just found this kitten?
Yeah, it was just near the playground, in the box with its toys.
It's a really hot day outside, so for this kitten to be alone and inside this box in the heat really worries me.
It looked like she'd been there for a little while. She looked like she'd been sitting in the sun, so she looked a bit tired and snoozy.
Wow, she's only a baby. I mean, she'd only be a couple of months old, if that.
Yeah.
So it's not really the time to be left alone.
No, not at all, not at all. She's very lucky that one of the kids actually was inquisitive enough to have a look in the box. It looked lethargic and it looked like it had been in the sun for a while. It was very hot and it looked very young, so I was worried that if it was left in the sun for much longer, it might not survive.
I think you've probably arrived just in the nick of time that when you have a kitten that's this small, their whole body is operating on such a high level that it needs water really regularly, it needs food really regularly.
Yeah.
If it goes without for more than a few hours in heat...
Yeah, and it was very hot. So
then they can dehydrate very quickly and you can lose a kitten like this in direct sun in just an hour or so.
Yeah.
Even less.
You're lucky. So. Yeah, I know.
If this little girl does have heat stroke, we are going to have to act pretty quickly because her body temperature could skyrocket to a dangerous level where her organs essentially start cooking themselves. She hasn't had anything to drink or eat?
No, nothing.
Okay, so you just came straight here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the Bondi clinic, Chris is urgently assessing a tiny kitten, which was found dumped in a cardboard box at a nearby cricket ground.
Her gums are just on the paler side of pink.
Right.
So, that could be due to shock, it could be due to dehydration.
Right, okay.
She's just a little pale.
When rescuer Yvonne and her sons William and Luca found the stray, she was struggling in the heat.
For this kitten to be alone in that box in direct sun, it's got to worry you because when dehydration and when heat stroke hit, they can be life-threatening. All right, what I'll do, let's just have a little listen. So her heart rate's really high. That's certainly a sign of stress.
Yeah.
And it can be a result of overheating and dehydration.
Yeah.
Chris now needs to check the kitten's temperature.
Okay. All right. It's just on the upper end of normal. Yeah. So she's not suffering from heat stroke, which is a really important thing and real positive. But when I put her on all 4 legs, something else is going on. See, she's not very happy putting that left
she's not, is she?
Front leg down. Yeah, she may have a problem with that front leg, which may explain why.
Yeah, she was there.
Someone may have decided it was all a bit too much. For her to be holding the leg up, the injury is severe. But my concern right now is the trauma may have been so great, it's damaged the nerve in her leg. If she's damaged the nerves, then things are a bit more serious. Yeah. Because you often can't fix nerves, but you can fix bones. So the important thing is, when I squeeze her foot, whether she can actually feel it. Just give those toes a bit of a squeeze. Okay, that's good. So we know that she has nerve function going right to her toes.
Yeah.
What we don't know is what's caused her to have that leg hanging the way it is. What we need to do is take an X-ray.
Yep, okay.
And from there, I can tell you exactly what's going on.
Okay.
Hopefully the leg is the only problem that this kitten has. It is one of those situations where you have to stay incredibly positive because if the X-rays show a really bad fracture and something that just can't be fixed, there is a chance she'll have to lose the leg. You ready for this now?
At the Bondi clinic, Chris is about to x-ray this tiny stray. The abandoned kitten was found in a cardboard box at a local cricket ground and has a badly injured front leg.
Normally you'd use a sedation, but considering we don't know exactly what's caused these injuries, whether she's been hit by a car or had a big fall, the risk of giving her a sedation could actually cause her whole system to crash. So I'm trying to be as gentle as possible. X-ray. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think we now know why she can't walk on that leg. That's a big fracture. Whatever's caused that fracture, we're talking about something major, because bones don't break like that every day. Being left alone in a box on a hot day is already horrific, but when you look at these x-rays, you understand just the trauma that this kitten's been through. You realise this has been the bad day of all bad days.
Chris now needs to share the disturbing news with concerned rescuers Yvonne and her sons William and Luca.
This is our problem leg, so it comes down and all of a sudden it has a break, hasn't it? Yeah, it does. So it's going to take an operation to fix that, which we can do in here.
Yeah, okay.
But the big challenge is the fact she's so young. I mean, looking at her teeth, she's probably about 7 or 8 weeks of age.
Tiny.
So an anaesthetic on these sort of little kittens is always a little risky, but you know, we'll obviously take every precaution with her.
Yeah, sure.
She'll stay with us tonight, and if she's up to it, she'll have the operation in the morning. But we do need to talk about names. And obviously, as the people that found her, you've got to approve this. So what do you reckon? If you look at her face, don't you reckon it looks like she's already wearing her zinc on her nose? And you guys were off on Saturday.
Playing cricket.
Yeah. What do you reckon, cricket? What do you think?
Yeah. You approve of that one?
Yeah.
All right, well, she's going to go and have a little sleep now, prepare herself for the operation. But thank you. In all seriousness, what you did today was very special, guys.
No problem.
See you, bye-bye, cricket.
So, no worries. Okay. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Sure, identifying exactly what sort of injuries cricket has is some sort of relief, but cricket only weighs 1 kilogram. She's 8 weeks by our best estimation. That's usually too small and too young to even attempt an operation, but the circumstances say we have to. That operation now presents a whole lot of risks we need to be aware of to make sure, after all we've been through, we now don't lose this little girl. So I'll start to run some anaesthetic in now. Cool, girl. That's it.
Next morning at the Bondi clinic, it's time for Chris to start the delicate surgery on little Cricket. The tiny abandoned kitten was found with a badly fractured front leg.
It's a measure of how small she is. Her dose of this anaesthetic is 0.005 of a mil. So I'm having to actually bulk it out with some extra fluid just so we can be fairly accurate when it comes to giving her a dose.
Head vet nurse Neil will be assisting Chris with the operation, keeping a constant watch on the little kitten's vital signs.
I think we're getting a bit sleepy now. Yeah. Okay, let's go. There's no doubt that anaesthetics for animals this size and this age have a huge amount of risk associated with them, simply because the animals are so young, they're so fragile, they don't have the energy reserves, and really if they lose just a little bit of blood, that makes a huge difference to their circulation. You have to take each and every step so carefully, otherwise, in the blink of an eye, you can lose them. All right. All good? All right, all good. Let's do it.
It's going to be a risky operation. Chris needs to expose the fracture and then insert a pin to join the 2 broken bones. It will be incredibly difficult working on such a tiny patient.
There's absolutely no chance to relax here right now. I mean, you look into this area and there are big veins, there are big arteries, and there are big nerves. Hitting any one of them could be catastrophic. The challenge here is that once a fracture occurs, all the muscles tend to tighten over the top almost to provide the strength that the bone's no longer providing. And so there's a lot of work that goes into just working my way through those and exposing the end of the fractured bone. So that sharp point there is actually the very end of the fracture. So we should be looking at the bottom part of the humerus there. Finally, I have some sort of access to the ends of the bone. The idea now is to put the pin up the top fragment.
With the pin inserted into one end of the bone, Chris now needs to find the other shattered end.
So we need to join that bit there to this bit here. Like a lot of kittens, Cricket has very thin bones. She's only been on this earth for about 8 weeks, so she hasn't had much calcium to really strengthen them up. So I know if I push too hard, I could actually crack the bone. If I do that, then this whole operation will be a failure. Okay, we're just starting to see it now. So there it is there, just popping up.
At the Bondi clinic, the delicate operation to repair little Cricket's badly fractured leg is continuing. Chris has inserted a metal pin into one end of the tiny kitten's fractured leg. He's now attempting to secure it to the other end of the broken bone.
See? So. This pin now feels like it has gone into place, but I need to know if it's gone in too far or if it's fallen short. To do that, I need an X-ray.
X-ray!
All right, okay, that's good. So the pin is going right through the middle of the bone. It's bringing the two ends together, and the join is pretty neat. The X-rays look good. The pin's sitting exactly where I want it to be. So really it's a matter of getting straight back into the surgery because time's ticking. Okay, let's cut this pin. All right, so we pulled that pin back and cut it off. So, okay, we're right to close.
Yep.
All right, I'm done there.
The little stray has now been on the operating table for an hour and a half, and Chris is anxious for the tiny kitten to wake up.
I know from my experience that when you're dealing with an animal as small as Cricket is, you can't relax at this stage. We have to keep our eye on the game and make sure that Cricket wakes up from this anaesthetic perfectly.
We've been through so much, don't give up now.
Okay, he's just starting to come around now. Can we get a bit?
Little Cricket is waking up safely, but it will be another few days before Chris knows if the operation to save her leg has been a success.
We've asked just so much of Cricket today. It's been a marathon operation for such a small kitten, but she's come out the other side and now hopefully we can start looking at a new life for her, a new home. Look at you. I did not expect to see you sitting up.
Over at the Bondi clinic, Chris is anxious to check on tiny Cricket.
After going through an operation like Cricket has to repair that fractured leg, you appreciate she's been through a lot. So it's important now to see how she's going. Well, she's putting on the big performance today. She's looking for affection. She's obviously feeling more comfortable in that leg because the bones aren't moving around anymore. She's happy to stand on it, so this is good. It's the best possible outcome to already just 12 hours after the operation have her willing to actually put some weight on it. That's far beyond my expectations. She's really only been away from her mum and her other kitten litter mates for, it could only be a few days, so it's a lot to ask of a little girl like this, but she just seems to take every little challenge and meet it head on and give it that right hook.
Chris is so impressed with the courageous kitten's progress that he's decided the little orphan is allowed a special treat.
Normally after major surgery, you really limit how many visitors a patient has. You don't want them up, about and excited. In Cricket's case though, we're going to make an exception. Tomorrow, she might just see some familiar faces. You've got visitors, Cricket.
Next day at the Bondi clinic, little Cricket is now well enough for some surprise visitors. Rescuers Yvonne and her boys are keen to see how well the tiny kitten is recovering after her leg operation.
I was a bit worried that she wouldn't be alright in the surgery because she's a small kitten, so hopefully she pulled through okay.
Okay. Would you like a hold?
Oh, yeah, we'll have a hold.
So she's doing all right. I mean, she's making progress.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. The injury she had, it wasn't small.
Yeah.
And it was actually quite an effort to put it
get it
back
back in
together,
place.
even though we're talking about bones that are, you know, this
Yeah.
big. The one thing that I've noticed since the operation, she's not going to go back to using that leg straight away.
No.
And she's going to try to guard that.
Yeah.
She's guarding a little bit more than I'd
I was
normally
going to say,
expect.
she doesn't look like she's got the paw down at all.
Exactly. So I'm just watching that. I just want to make sure she does get full nerve function back in that foot. For now,
Yep.
the most important thing is just keeping her fairly quiet.
Yeah,
That's why I'm happy for her to be in her little cage there and
Yeah.
resting, because
Yep.
her bones are really in a crucial stage where
Yeah.
they need to mend. But she's got the right attitude
Yeah.
with it all, and you know, she's affectionate and she's getting plenty of attention in here. And
Really? I can't imagine that she's not demanding that. Hey?
Exactly. You look at those boys' faces, they're infatuated by her and clearly thinking about how they convince Mum to take Cricket home.
It's a big step from rescuer to owner, and Yvonne isn't taking it lightly.
I mean, it wasn't a plan to have a kitten, but you never know, we might take her, but you do really need to make a decision if you're going to have a pet that you're going to keep it forever.
Okay, well, we'll put her back in here. The fact is, whether Yvonne and the boys decide to take Cricket home in the end, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, they've already saved her life, and that's the really important thing to remember right now. All right. So, thank you for calling by. It is very, very sweet of you, so
Yeah,
I'm sure she appreciates it.
nice to see her, isn't it, Luca?
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Cricket.
See, giving me a handshake. Look at that. Just got a handshake.
All right,
Right.
guys.
Great.
Thanks for calling by.
Thanks, Chris.
We'll see you soon.
We'll see you later.
Okay. Cricket doesn't really seem to know the meaning of rest and of taking it easy, but that is exactly what she needs to do right now. We want to see that movement return to that leg and get her more comfortable in using it. If she can do that over the next few weeks, then we can seriously look at her going to a new home, wherever that is. Excuse me. What is it? What is which buttons? That can't last.
It's been 4 weeks since the surgery to repair Cricket's left front leg.
Normally, if you want to check if the leg's working, you stretch it, you might take some x-rays here. We just check if she can pull up buttons and make phone calls. I know it's all about pulling your weight, but we don't need a secretary. You are just proving that you cannot stay around here much longer, and you are going to have to go to your new home. Yep. And you better not behave like that. So Yvonne has decided not to adopt little Cricket. I mean, obviously, the whole family's played such a huge role in her life and ultimately her survival, but for them, the timing just wasn't right, and the worst thing you can do is force a pet into a family that's not ready for one. The good news, though, is that we do actually have another person who is very keen to adopt her.
You'll be ready to get out of here, I'm sure. She's just full of beans all the time.
Yeah.
This leg's amazing. You've done a great job.
She uses it
Yeah.
for good as well as evil.
Yeah.
Whilst Neil is a real softie, he's a hard man when it comes to making sure that his kittens go to the right homes. He has a little checklist he always likes to run through, and if he doesn't think the owner's suitable, he'll say no.
So you think they're a suitable owner for a cat?
Definitely, yeah. They've had cats before.
They've had cats before?
Yeah.
Have they had any other pets before?
Yeah, they've had dogs as well.
Dogs?
Actually, quite a few different types of animals.
Okay. Yep, you can have a look when I've finished. Now, are they going to be responsible? So there's a few really important things. Obviously, they're going to have to make sure that she's fed, watered, litter trays looked after, they're in a safe environment.
I trust them.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think you'll like them, and I think you'll learn to understand why they're pretty trustworthy.
Okay.
So the new owner has been given Neil's conditional approval, so here comes the exciting part. It's time for Cricket to go home to the new owner for the first time. Kiss, kiss. Lovely. One more.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Be good.
Cricket, just trust me on this. You are going to love where we're going. Bit of faith.
Lucky Cricket is getting some VIP treatment, with Chris taking time out to personally deliver her to her new home.
So welcome to your new home. It's actually our home. Oh yeah, we're doing this. It's been kind of a funny situation because I truly did want Yvonne and the kids to adopt Cricket, but each and every time I found I was trying to convince them into taking her, I was giving reasons as to why I should ultimately adopt her. And so when they said no, it wasn't going to work out, I wasn't that disappointed. Are you going to get to love this place? There is so much here for you to look at, for you to get to know, and for those claws of yours to sink themselves in. You already can't wait, can you? Look at you. Cricket? No. What are you scratching? Really, my whole life I've had cats, apart from the last couple of years since I lost my cat, George. George certainly had a unique personality. George, that's not a welcome. And you can never replace that kind of character. So all the while since I lost him, I've been looking for a cat that might go close. And I think Cricket might just be that cat. I wouldn't do that, Cricket. Feel good? That's not gonna happen. You don't have to scratch every single item of furniture in the first 5 minutes you're here. At the moment, I'm looking around my house, trying to appreciate how my house looks now, because it'll never look better. Cricket clearly thinks my house is delicious, and she's willing to scratch and taste every single part of it. You relax? Yeah? Do you know how to relax? Cricket's had just about the hardest start to life that a cat can have. Been abandoned with a broken leg, having to face major surgery and a really long recovery. But hopefully today is a really nice way to start the rest of her life. We're gonna have some fun.
If you guys loved that video, great. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below. That way.